This is the High School Football America podcast for March the 10th, 2020. I'm Jeff Fisher. Heading to South Georgia, one of the finest areas in the country when it comes to high school football. And over the last decade, this man that's on the line has done a wonderful job of getting student athletes ready for the next level, turning them into men, and winning a lot of football games, by the way, along the way. He's actually changing states, going across the border after a very successful run in Alabama, a couple of state championships at Prattville, and most recently at Central in Phoenix City, where a year ago, 2 years ago, I guess now at this point, won the 7A title, the biggest classification there. Jamey Dubose is now at Lowndes, a team that finished number 16 in the High School Football America 100 last season. A great community, Valdosta. Most everyone in America knows something about Valdosta, and Lowndes is one of the two teams that battle in the Wintersville Classic, and we're going to talk about that with Coach. But he's taken over for legendary Randy McPherson, who retired at the end of last season after 18 years as the head coach of the Vikings. Last year, Lowndes a 7A runner-up finish, so Central runner-up, and now Lowndes runner-up. And Coach Dubose is on the line to talk about going from Alabama to Georgia. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Hey, thank you very much. And yeah, you're right. It's a great transition. It's always great to follow a legend because coming in, Coach McPherson did an outstanding job of getting everybody ready, and it's just been kind of come in and simple to change directions a little bit because they were doing things right. And, when you get to the state championship and you had to be doing things right. So we had great staff members here. We had great people. So it's just been really terminology and beliefs and kind of theory that we're changing. But for the most part, the program's still remaining the same in the way they've been working. And, man, the work ethic here is just unreal.
Don't fix it if it's not broken is the best way. But, Coach, you've done some great jobs. As I said, earlier, the success you had in Alabama, building Central into a national power. I think the year you won the state championship, you were number 10 in our national rankings. And last year, number 64, got to the state championship. What are some of the things when you take over? Because this isn't your first rodeo, right? You've done this once or twice. Like you said, you don't have to fix a lot of things. But what's that thumbprint that you like to put on a program as you take over?
Well, number one, you always want to leave a place better than you got it. So, you start looking around and seeing things that you can do. Number one, we're talking right now about facilities here at Lowndes and, just trying to make the environment a little bit better and the everyday ins and outs from the coaches to the players and everything that we're doing. And, as far as program-wise, when you got a good situation you go into where the work ethic's there, the discipline's there, and everything else, you're just trying to continue that on. Now, what we're trying to do right now is trying to put a little bit different style of speed in here. We want to play extremely fast, and I think that's going to be a little different than what they have done. We're trying to speed up the offense a little bit and play with some tempo and do some things. With me being an offensive guy, that's kind of my stamp on it. Is what do we want to do offensively? We've got a tremendous quarterback at Jakari Brown, which will be a junior next year that has been starting here, I think, since his freshman year. And to play in South Georgia football since a freshman, that's a big task. And he's done an outstanding job. And he's a superior athlete. And we've got some good players behind him. So we're coming in and continuing to grow with this program and, make them understand about being great men. And that was one thing, too, Coach McPherson did a great job of, character ed. And, I've always done a great job with that and tried to is worry about people more than you worry about the wins and the losses. And if you come in and you invest in the individuals, you train the individuals, but you got to train them mentally, you got to train them physically, you got to put them in situations that are going to be great community members down the road, and they're going to be good people. And when they go off to colleges, they represent your community and represent it well, that people will remember and think good things about your community. And we talk to them about that every day. Every day is a job interview when you're out in the public and you're out in the public eye. And right now, we're training them well. We've got, I think, 6 or 7, Power 5 offered kids right now coming back this next year. So defensively, we've got a lot returning. Offensively, we've got to replace a lot. So, vice versa. But, here at Lowndes, you're always going to have great numbers, and you're always going to have some really good players.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Jamey Dubose is on the line, the new head coach at Lowndes, highly successful at Central. And during this interview, we're going to kind of hop back and forth between Central and Lowndes. And I guess the biggest thing that I want to ask at the beginning is, how tough was it to leave Central? The Red Devils, you had built them into a state championship, a national power. You'd liked playing some teams from out of state and all that. I'm assuming it was a pretty tough decision for you, although Lowndes is a great position to take, obviously.
Well, just to be honest with you, Lowndes was probably one of the only jobs that could have got me out of there. And, I had 27 years in Alabama, and, a year or so ago I could have came out. I had some good teams coming back, some really good players, and, we had a good staff. We had everything rolling well there. And as you said, we had really upped the level of play, and I felt like, we were signing 14 to 20 guys a year coming out, and, we just had some good situations going. Facilities were unreal. We had an indoor facility built while we was there, meeting rooms, locker rooms, everything else. You had a tremendous city support, and, everything was going well. The only issue is I always heard of Lowndes and South Georgia football and how big it was, and the importance of football in these communities down here. And I did not really know till I got here. People talk about Texas football, but I'm going to tell you something. I would hate to think or see Texas football being any bigger than it is in South Georgia. These guys down here, I'm talking about the community, the support from the Touchdown Club, the support from the community. I'm on a radio show basically daily down here. We're talking football 365 days out of the year. So, it's a big deal to these communities. It's a big deal to everybody here. And it's a lot of support for it. And, I think it was a great move for me to come here at this time. It's a deal that nationally this program is probably in front of Central. It should be, and has been. And so I thought it was a step up for me, even from where I was at. But at the end of the day, Central's a great program too. And, a lot of good things come out of there, and it was very difficult to leave.
Yeah, I can only imagine. By the way, Phil Jones of Fox Sports Radio there in Valdosta is a friend of ours and been on the show a lot, so I know what you're talking about. There is no off season. He's talking a year round, but we're talking to Jamey Dubose. Record at Central, by the way, was 66-11, the 7A state championship in 2018, a runner-up finish, last year. And I remember, Coach, when I got to check you guys out last year against Jeff Davis. And by the way, folks listening, that's a great scene down there to see what the community was getting behind and all that. I remember being on the sidelines, and I can't remember the superintendent's name, but what I'm going to tell you is one of the things we talked about, obviously, was, what you had accomplished on the field. But what he said to me was, Jeff, what Coach Dubose has done off of the field is probably 20 times more important and visible to this community. So I hadn't talked to you about that, but when you hear somebody like that in that position say that, how does that make you feel?
Well, it made me feel great. And as I said earlier, we really, me and my wife both, we make it a family affair, and we try to make sure that we invest in the kids and help them out. And, there was a lot of close relationships built down there and are up there now. And, it's just a deal that we want kids to have more than what they had. And, and we were dealing with some guys that were coming from some tough areas and tough situations, but our main thing was what did you want out of life? And every one of them would always say a chance to get out, a chance to have something bigger. So, football was their avenue. So, we built off of football, meaning with their athletic ability and, the ability to train and the ability to get that offer. But at the end of the day, the make or break is in the classroom. The make or break is what kind of person you are. The make or break is who you are. So, we went in and worked more on the person. We went in and worked more on the individual as far as just, showing about family, showing about how you treat people, showing about how you work in the classroom is the same as how you work on the field. And the results started hitting. And, we just tried to invest in every way and, give those guys something they had never had. And, I think we, as I said earlier, we upgraded the program greatly in a lot of areas, not just football, but we upgraded it in the quality of person that was coming through there. We dressed, I think, 131 in the state championship game. That's 10 through 12. So we were averaging about 60, 62 kids a class coming through in our lower level. So we got down in the 7th grade. We got down in the 8th grade. We worked on that level. We started putting in character education type thing, bringing in speakers to talk to them, not just from our community, but from other communities that have been successful. And the guys started listening, and the guys started paying attention. And, it's all about trust in football. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's all about the individuals trusting each other and having the trust over each other. And, in our program there at Central, everybody knew that everybody had each other's back. And we knew that we were going to always be there for each other no matter what happened. And, it was through the goods and the bads. We were always there. But I was very proud of our teams. I was very proud of our coaches there for the commitments that they made. And, not just to the football field and the players on it, but to off the field. And I had a big mission coming in. I wanted to bring the community together. It was kind of, split a little bit in the area of, who was for who and just going in different directions. And I think we brought the community together. I think by our winning in sports and our enthusiasm with our football team, I think the community really rallied behind us. And if you went to the state championship games both years, you would see the lower level of Auburn University at Jordan-Hare was full. And, that's a commitment by the community to go out and support our student athletes and show them thank you back. We would do things in the community, go out and help, and just do different things around the area. And it became a family environment. And I think it's something that we built that was really unique and something we'd like to try to build here too and have the same relationships here.
Yeah, the beauty of high school football, just everything you described right there. Jamey Dubose, the new head coach at Lowndes High School, South Georgia in Valdosta. As a matter of fact, talking about how many your numbers there at Central, I remember I was there senior night. It was goal line to goal line. I was like, where are all these people coming from? I've never seen this. But I guess one of the questions you might get, Coach, because South Georgia is very, very proud, as you said. Anybody asking you the question on a regular basis, who's better, the Alabama football or the Georgia high school football? Have you gotten that one? And I know you probably don't want to answer it, but
yeah, I try to abstain from any of those comments right now. But no, I'll tell you now. This South Georgia football, just watching film I've watched before, and the teams that are down here, it's unreal. Like I said, I've been very impressed with it, and as I said earlier, I felt in my career, coming to South Georgia and entering into this league and entering into 7A football in the state of Georgia, I think I've upped it. And, like I said, the caliber of play is extremely good. And, top to bottom in the state, you got great football talent. Georgia's got really good talent. It's not just a few teams. It's all over the place. And, that's what's exciting about it. And, the one thing I'll tell you that one of my former coaches I worked with and Coach Probst told me when I came over here is that, we had a conversation and he said, it's harder to win it in Georgia than it is Alabama. Well, he knows that just as good as anybody. And,
sure does.
He explained that to me. And, since I got over here, I see exactly what he's talking about after watching film and seeing the teams and the number of talented teams there are that you got to go through a rigorous a playoff schedule, and who you're going to have to run into week in and week out.
Well, when this Pennsylvania boy moved to Georgia, he learned a thing or two that these people down here take it very, very seriously. Coach Jamey Dubose on the line talked about a challenging schedule. We'll leave the big one, Valdosta, for the second question, but notice that we took the coach out of Alabama, but the coach has an Alabama game number 1 on the schedule at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, the Corky Kell Classic, which is an awesome event, folks. If you've never been to Georgia, that's a great time where you can watch about 11 games all in a 3-day span. But you got Hoover. I also see you got Oakleaf out of Florida there. So tell me a little bit about this very challenging schedule. And Hoover on game 1, I love that matchup. You go back into state.
Well, it's kind of funny, me and Josh Niblett at Hoover have had numerous big run-ins, either in preseason classics or state championship games. And, we've had some really good ones, nail-biters that go down to the end. I think in just about every one of them, it's been decided by a field goal at the last second or a blocked field goal or going for 2 or something. And, it was kind of funny in that when I took the job, I ran into their AD, Andy Urban, at the Corky Kell first media day deal or whatever they had going on. And, he walked up and he kind of laughed. And I said, well, y'all thought y'all could run. I went and found a job that played y'all first that year. So, it was kind of funny in talking about that. But, yeah, we've had some great matchups. And, as far as our schedule goes, we've added Griffin on the schedule. We've got Lee County, which is another power down here in South Georgia. We got them on the schedule. You always got Valdosta with the Wintersville Classic. And you mentioned Oakleaf. Oakleaf has got, 3 or 4 of the top-rated players being recruited right now out of Jacksonville. And, I think that game when it was signed, it was kind of didn't know, and I think it's kind of built into their coach has done an outstanding job of getting some talent or developing some talent in there, and they've kind of loaded up for the year. And, you get into our region after that. So, our schedule is going to top to bottom this year. I think it's going to really test us and challenge us and get us ready for what we got to go through the playoffs. We've just got to make it through it. And when you talk about, you hear these guys talk about, man, it's a schedule like the SEC West. Well, I truly think we can honestly say we're going to have one of those schedules. So, it's going to be like going to Texas A&M and LSU and going to different places week in and week out. The advantage we have is 7 of them are at home this year. So that's a big advantage because to play at the Concrete Palace here in town is remarkable, and have the opportunity to be right here at Lowndes and our fans and the support that I've heard about. Again, I've not seen, but let me tell you, I've heard about the tailgating, and it's just a remarkable sight and a thing that I look forward to being involved with. And so it'll be a lot of fun to go through. But the schedule, all we're doing is trying to prepare us for a tough playoff region, and we're gonna have to make it through it. And I'm looking forward to it. Fans want that, and we want it as coaches. Challenges are what's going to make us better, and we're up for the challenge, and we're going to take it week by week.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Jamey Dubose. And you do have your first Wintersville Classic coming up, as you said. How many times is that brought up in the interview? Because I would think it's probably like Ohio State, Michigan, right?
Yeah, there's several stories on that one that I've gotten to know about, and I knew the importance of that game really quick. In my job interview, not the interview, but when I got introduced for the job, I wore a black suit, red shirt, and or a crimson shirt, I'm sorry, and a tie. And I got down, and they said, that's the last time you wear that black suit. And I was like, excuse me? And they said that black's not allowed here. So they take it serious, And then the first day I moved in, funny thing is I unpacked my office, moved in down here. I'm unpacking with my secretary down here, and she looks up, and I've got the athletic assistant sees yellow sticky notes, and she says, Coach, I need every one of them. And I said, what for? She said, we don't have black and yellow in this building. So I thought, wow, that is, I'm already into something that's deep. So I had to get rid of all my yellow stickies. She said, I'll get you a different color, but you can't have those. So that was kind of the way it was brought to me real quick, and so I learned the importance of the game, that one, and two, I'll never forget, I was speaking with the board members, and the board members told me when we got through, I was talking about, our plan to win a state championship and get back to the state championship. And one of the older guys raised his hand and said, Coach, I understand that, but have you watched any film on Valdosta yet? So in this community, that game is one of the biggest games I think that I'll ever have been in. It seems like it's going to be similar to a state championship type game and atmosphere. I've heard 15,000 plus that is easily at that game or more. And there's a lot of pride in it. And there is no riding the fence in this community on that game. It's one way or the other. And they will tell you quickly how they feel about it. So I have learned greatly about it. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like an event that is second to none. And if you're a football coach, something you want to be involved in. But I've heard about it, but I didn't know it was quite like it is till I got here. But found out quickly. It's very important.
Yeah, when you get hired and you're told to go to Office Max or Staples or whatever, that's a pretty big deal. Jamey Dubose is on the line, new head coach at Lowndes. And by the way, that's on my bucket list now that I'm living in Atlanta. I'm coming this year, so I look forward to checking that out myself as well. 2 questions before we go away here. You mentioned some of the talent you have coming back. Want to ask you first about the weight room, and you can see leadership develop there, as we all know. Who are some of the kids that you're, by name, that you're seeing some leadership out of that gets you excited as you head to spring ball?
Well, we hired a new strength conditioning coach right after I got here, and he's done an outstanding job. And Kevin Wisham, he was here, before a year or so ago, and the kids really remember him and knew him, and brought a lot of energy and fire in the weight room. And that's an important place for me in the off season. That's where I think that we built our teams, and I really stressed our coaches. To me, the weight room is an extension of the football field. We attack the weight room like we do practice. And I want the coaches attacking it like we do practice and everything else, because that's ultimately what's going to get you through the year. It's ultimately what's going to win a ball game for you, I think. And, we got to get in there and we hit it. And good thing is I got here quick in January. Our superintendent's an outstanding superintendent, doing everything we can to, help the program out and make sure that we're getting the things we need. So, again, the weight room has been outstanding. Thomas Davis, inside linebacker, he played DN for us last year and was an outstanding player. He's about a 6'1", 6'2" kid, about 215, 220, and we're going to stand him up, play him inside. But he's been a monster in the weight room, doing some great things. And, he's carrying a couple of SEC offers, most recently Mississippi State, and, just a tremendous athlete, tremendous player. And, Jakari Brown, I've already mentioned about on the offensive side, returning as a 2-year starter at quarterback. Dominique Marshall at wide receiver. Now, we got hit at the offensive line a little bit, and that's our biggest thing of concern we've been working on the offseason, is trying to bring those guys together in the weight room. But we got to replace 5 guys that were really mammoth up front, and we got to get 5 more. We've got 5 or 6 or 7 really good guys that we're looking forward to in spring, seeing how they'll progress. But, Jaquez Hunter, another guy that, we had in the weight room for a little while, had some shoulder issues. He's another highly recruited guy, but he's, kind of went down with a shoulder. He'll miss spring. We had to get him repaired. You got TJ Quinn at safety, who's one of the top safeties in the state of Georgia. Dad coaches with us. His dad played at Louisville and played with the Bills. Terry Quinn, and, he's just an outstanding player for us. A really good hitter, really good tackler, runs really, really well. So we're excited about him. We're excited about what he can do. Leon Williams, another D lineman that we got, outstanding football player. And, the list goes on. We got a lot of guys on our team that are really leading. And, the one thing I'll tell you in coming in here, always when you change, there's a little bit of kind of letdown maybe in the middle of the change or something while everybody's learning each other. This has kind of been a unique difference. I mean, coming here from day one, the work ethic has never laid down. And I really applaud the kids and the players here in this program, because, their mission was still to get back to the state championship. And they know their mission is still to work to get to where they got to get to. And there was no kind of lull. There was no kind of change or anything. I was here first day. We got back after Christmas, and we got in the weight room, and I'm telling you, they've been hitting it ever since. And there's been a lot of enthusiasm, and the players are buying into what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So I really applaud them and accepting the change. And we talked a little bit about that when I came in. Is change is a part of life, and you can either accept it or decline it. And if you decline it, you're going nowhere. You're going to go backwards. But if you accept it, because it's going to happen to us every day. But if you accept it, then we can move forward and we can go. And I talked about them the first day I was here, just a big deal about change and how we got to handle it and what we got to do. And man, these guys have done it since day one. And, you really couldn't tell I wasn't here last year, because it's easy to talk to them, because I talk about getting back to the state championship, because I explained it to them. I was in the state championship last year and lost, and we didn't play very well. And I said, my mission is to get back, whether I was here or at another school. Your mission is to get back also. So it's been a really good transition. One didn't win it, and we both have the fire to get back. And, it kind of has mixed well and just us making a group. And it's been, like I said, it's been the easiest transition I've went through, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's great. Makes for a good match there, it sounds like. Jamey Dubose on the line. One more question, Coach. And since I've moved to Atlanta here, I've gotten to know Coach Bill Curry pretty well. And I've been noticing on his Twitter account lately, he's been really chirping about the fun of spring ball and how much it can make a difference, come the fall and all that. And just a big proponent of making sure that you do your work in the spring. What's your philosophy on spring ball? How do you approach it?
Well, this year's a little different than normal. If I was at Central, we would kind of know the guys coming back, and we're looking for depth, if you understand what I'm talking about. If I'm at Central, we're looking for the guy next in line. We're looking for the guy that, is going to help us out in case of an injury or to give us depth to rest a guy during the course of a game. But now, coming in as a new guy, I use spring training as really the developmental of who I am. I think a head coach and a football team is going to represent the mentality or the thought process of a head coach. So, I like to play physical, fast football. So we're going to have to up the tempo. We're going to continue to be physical here. That's not something I got to work on. They've been physical. So we got to continue to do that. And we've got to have an identity. And that's what I'm going to try to develop this spring, is what our identity is and who I am. And the kids have got to get to know me on the turf and on the grass, and I got to get to know them. So it's a big learning thing. I think this spring, your first spring when you're somewhere like this one, is going to be really important in the fact of, I don't know what some of the players can do. Some of the coaches have got to learn some of the players, and we got to get a scheme in. We've got to get our process in. So this spring for us is really big. Now, again, the longer you've been in the spring, I think you can go out there and you can work on depth and you can work on things like that. But heck, this is just like a new beginning when we walk out there, and I'm excited about it. April 30th. We're in the learning phase of it. We're on the board, we're teaching, we're drawing, but you want to get on the turf and you want to see what they can do, and you want to see how they handle situations. So, again, it's not worrying about, your players. You're worrying about getting your scheme, your who you are with your identity and everything else in this spring.
Well, you can hear the enthusiasm in your voice, Coach. We wish you nothing but success. We've always respected you. You've always helped us whenever we've called and asked you to come on the show. So thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you there. The September 25th, so we can learn together about that Wintersville Classic. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, and from what I understand, you want to get here early.
Well, I think I know somebody, one or two people that hopefully can get me the media credential. But thanks, and have a great spring, and we'll see you in the fall.
All right, thank you.
And if you want to check out the Vikings' entire schedule for 2020, just go to highschoolfootballamerica.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at HSFB America and on Facebook at facebook.com/highschoolfootballamerica. I'm Jeff Fisher, and you've been listening to the High School Football America podcast.